Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little sneak peek into foot reading. And so the foot is so fascinating. And so everything that's going on in Sarah's body, this is Sarah, you will be able to see in her foot. And so I just wanted to give you this angle so that you could kind of start to see how she puts her feet together. One thing I really notice about Sarah is she's changed it a little bit. We've been working together all day, but her left heel hangs back slightly. And so this left kidney hangs back slightly. So if your two heels aren't meeting like exactly in the middle and one's hanging back a little bit, then you're going to basically be sitting back on that butt cheek a little bit more. And so for Sarah, she does this on her left side, and you can even see like your pants and your clothes will do the same thing. Her seam is moved over to the left a little bit. And so when we start to read the feet, you know, how the foot is, I'm going to show you guys right here, and we're going to give her a little bolster. There we go. Is that everything that's going on in Sarah's sacrum is going to show up in the heels of her feet. Everything that's going on in her lumbar spine is going to show up in the arch of her foot. Everything that's going on in the balls of her feet are going to show up in her lungs. And everything that's going on right here is the neck, this little crook. And this is her, essentially her eyes. And so you can right away tell that Sarah has a better arch on her left foot, and her whole left foot holds a better angle than the right foot. And so her right foot, since it's the one that is pushed forward a little bit more, the heel's a little bit more forward, you can see that it's a little bit more like red. There's more heat in it than her left foot, right? This is the foot that she overuses, overworks. This is the foot that gets the injuries because she overdoes it on this foot. And so you can see how for her, she doesn't have as good of an arch, as good of a bounce on this foot. And she had already told me that she has a little bit of an injury on this foot. And so you can kind of see where this foot has to work so hard to overcompensate, whereas the left is like, it's more innocent, it's more new. There's like less wear and tear, less work. And so the right foot is you get from your father. It's the foot that shows you how to work in the world. It's how you saw your father or your paternal figure or not work in the world, and how you've compensated into that same kind of behavior. And then the left is from your mother. It's how you saw the mother working in the home or not in the home, or like the perception of the mother. And so it's the maternal root of embodiment. And so for Sarah, you can really see how, where she like overworks her right lung, right? Where it's just a little bit darker on this side, right? Than the left just looks like so good. Can you see that? Yeah. Where the right looks pretty mangled. And you can see where like she overworks her right lung more than her left. The right lung is a little bit bigger and more used than the left, but then you can also see where this shoulder caves in a little bit. So there's compensation here. And so she has an injury in her right arm as well. And so it's the arm that she overuses, that she overworks. And so there's less organization here. And so she has to overwork it, overchew it, overdo it, because it doesn't have that same strength and structure and stability that there is in the left side. And so she's finding all of these compensation patterns on the right side of the body, the right side being the more masculine side, the right side being the side that's out in the world, versus the left is more the inside and the more lunar side. Okay, so we are going to get Sarah to sit up now. So how are you feeling about all of this?
It's crazy how true all of it is and how much it applies.
Yes, it applies. It's all translatable. So everything in your foot is so translatable to your life. And so when I look at someone when they set up, I've already put Sarah on a bolster. And so she's already has a little bit of a throne, so she doesn't sit so far back on her tail. So the back body holds the memories, it holds the past, it's where you've been, right? That's why we get a hunchback as we age, because eventually the memories diminish your potential. Your potential is the front of the body. It is how you're going out into the world. It's like how you're bringing yourself forward. You know, when you more stand on the ball of your foot, you're more in the future. When you more stand on the heel of the foot, you're more in the memories. And so the trick is to really just know where you go hard. For Sarah, it's in her tail, it's in her heels, it's in the heels of her wrist. I've seen it in her whole practice so far. And so, you know, we really have to show her that's like safe in the world. It's safe to go out into the world. And Sarah's young and she's just learning how to go out in the world. And so all of it is really, you know, how do we get you out there so that, you know, you don't get damaged, so that it's all set up well. And so we want to get her moving forward a little bit. And so it's helpful if you have a friend. If not, it's okay. But she's going to take her hands on her blocks. And so since I already know about her left heel, she's already set her left heel hanging back a little bit, which is where she sits back on her left butt. So she's got this little torque in her pelvis here. And so we just get her heels to meet. I like to give her more ground because she likes to hold it really tight, but she needs a little bit more space and more ground for herself. And so for Sarah, she's also has a little bit of hypermobility. And so we don't want to be too flexible in this practice, right? We don't want to be too rigid. We don't want to be too flexible. We want to have the tensile strength, just like right in the center, just the ability to bounce back. So bring your front body forward, Sarah. Breathe into your belly. There, all the way up the front of your body. Now find the strap and lean back. Find the strap and lean back. There we go. And so for Sarah, she has, there we go. There we go. Now tuck your chin down. Beautiful. And so when you start to put someone in their center, it all starts to show where the rooms are a little bit messy. So I can tell on her right shoulder, it turns in and she's trying to bring her arm out, but we really need to learn how to open up this whole front part of her shoulder because it's the same thing that we saw on the ball of her foot. Oh, she got so strong. Such a strong back. And so when we work with the feet, it's really about using the feet to see it in the body, to find the center of our positioning in this practice. And so whatever pose you come into, whatever pose Sarah comes into, she's going to find the same habits moving throughout. She's going to find herself hanging back in her heels of her feet, her heels of her wrist. If she's in a forward fold, she's going to be in the heels of her foot. If she's in a dog pose, a table pose, she's going to be in the heel of her wrist. And so everything for her is about moving her forward into the posture, about bringing her front body forward, pubis, navel, sternum. Beautiful. Take a couple deep breaths. And then just holding yourself here long enough to have an experience that's not yours. And so that's how we start to transcend ourselves. And we transcend our frame of reference is to have an experience that's not ours. And so with Sarah, it's about learning better boundaries in her foundation. It is about learning how to not make bad deals in the world, right? Because the right hand is the hand of the world. It's the hand we make deals with, we shake hands, right? And we are always on the receiving end of the deal. So we have to know who we're shaking hands with because we are receiving that, right? It's never about anyone else outside of you. It's all about you because you have to deal with what's going on inside of you. You can't change anyone. All you can do is change yourself and your perception and your perspective of the world. And so that's what this practice is doing. It's really showing you who you are so that you can be in your center, so that you can hold your ground, so that when you go out into the world, nothing can touch you. Right? Even if the world is stressful, you know how to hold your center, right? And so when we're not in center, it's just like when you hang a painting and it's off a little bit and a door slams, the painting falls over. And so we really want to learn how to be an eye of the storm in the world. And so that's where we find the center of the body, from the universe, through the skull, through the throat, through the torso, through the perineum, down into the center of the earth. We find the center of the leg bone when we're standing right behind the ball of the big foot. When we're standing, when we're sitting, we're finding the perineum between the pubis and coccyx, so we're not sitting too far back on the tail. Right in the center of the palm, we're finding the center of the palm and lifting off of it in every posture. And so wherever you're heavy on whatever side of the body, you're going to see it everywhere. And so if I know Sarah's right big toe is off, I know the right index finger is off. I know that her right eye is going to be a little bit off because all of these parts are related in her body. And then it's the intellect and it's the rational thinking and it's the pragmatism. And it's like these faculties and facilities that Sarah really gets to develop. She's so good with the lunar and the creativity and just like the irrational thoughts. And so we get to weave this other part of her so that she becomes more whole, so that when there's an experience in front of her, she gets to choose whether she brings her emotions or her practical side into the situation. Beautiful. A couple more breaths. Now Sarah can walk forward, and then when she comes forward and brings her hands forward, when she's folding, she's not curling and rounding her spine. Do the curl and the round.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
The contrast.
Yeah. So people try to fold forward like this, and then it puts all the pressure in their kidneys, but we want to back bend always. You always want a piece of yourself looking out. Pull this right rib in. This left rib, sorry.
That was cool.
Beautiful. And so it's all about, there we go, learning how to fold and unfold, learning how to get out of the muscles of the body so you can center your bones, so that you can position yourself in time and space. There we go. And then we get to get her out of her kidneys where she sits hard on herself. And so, foot reading is really fascinating, and you will learn a lot about yourself. And that's why I'm hosting this foot reading series, this 3 courses, where the first one, you're going to learn the maps of the foot and how it's translating into your body. The second one, you get to learn how to actually move out of your foot in the places where you go hard. And so if you don't know where you go hard in your feet, just look at the sole of your foot or the sole of your shoe where it's all worn out, because then you will start to see where you go hard and you'll find the detention in the body in the specific place. So like we talked about, the right big toe of both sides is the right lung, is the right hand, is the right eye. And so we really start to understand what is flowing through the body and how to get out of it and how to reposition yourself. And then the third day, we do a little bit of body reading so we can learn about each other's bodies. And so we'll do 5 body readings, 5 foot readings, and translate it into the body so you can begin to learn about the patterns that flow through the collective, through the body, and see it in different perspectives. And so if you really love this kind of material, you love this work, you want to learn more about yourself, this is definitely a series to take part in.
And if you like more of these yoga videos and this methodology, the Katonah Yoga methodology, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next video.